In this video demonstration, I'm going to show you how to use the brand new JND464 6-inch diorama die along with the 465 village scenes. So here's our village scenes, here's our diorama card. The diorama card is perfect for making this style of card where you actually virtually folds flat for postage but stands up. So you can actually put lots of depth in there, you can put your flowers and things in there, and they're all protected by the front, so nothing will come out, the card won't fall over. And I just think it's a beautiful sort of completely sealed unit. So we need to start by making the main piece. So to do that, I'm going to just take a piece of coconut white card and take the diorama die itself and place that on. I'm then going to take the outside line pattern and the actual square. So again, take a long piece of tape, everyone's used to this, put that together onto there, get it nice and even, and we would tape that down. We will run that through and cut that, and that will give us our first front panel of the card. So just like this, we will get this front panel. We then need to cut the die on its own, again, give us our second, which is our back panel. So I'll show you how we put this together in a second. So next we want to do is to take a piece, and I'm using waterfall glitter card, cut to literally just a bit smaller, so nearly 6 inches, sort of 5 7/8. We place that in like that. We can then glue that down. We take our inside die, we drop that back in, and we run that through and we cut that. And that will give us a beautiful panel just like this, where it's actually been stuck in, and we have that. So we want to make the folds, so we want to turn this onto its back and fold over and skip 1, 2, fold back and fold back. So we're giving ourselves a zigzag and a piece like that. We want to do exactly the same on the other side. So we're going to take that, fold it, 2, back 2, forward 2. And all I'm going to do is to take a piece of power tape, and I'm just going to attach that here on this back flap so that we can attach these together. So reveal the tape and we place our back panel onto there exactly, giving us our fold up. So there we have one side and we have our second side, and that will give us our sort of easy zigzag card. We simply add a piece of power tape, and I tend to do this by the seam here. Take that off. I'm going to take that little extra piece off, so just using my freestyle trimmer, place that on, take that extra piece off. You don't need to do this, but it just neatens it up, and that will fix to there. But we don't want to do that until we've made our center panel. So to start with our center panel, we want to cut ourselves our pieces of the village scenes. So here I have some scraps of card cut, and I've just cut scraps of white and scraps of the green. So you can use the excess on this, and you simply want to place your village scenes onto each of these and cut them out in the white and in the green, so that you've got one for each piece. So if I bring in the pieces I've already cut on those, so here I have my white and my green, and I've made 3 layers of this. And if you'll notice here, what I've done is I've just cut them off on the excess pieces, and that's so that I can trim them to size. So if we start with the house, I'm simply going to add a little bit of wet glue on the back. I then place that, offsetting it slightly so that the green is showing, and nicely stick that down, and then simply take my scissors and finish off to match the line at each side, so that I still keep that little bit showing. So there's my little house. I'm going to do the same with my little trees and my little house. So again, offset to the same side, just like that. There we go. Take my scissors and complete that. Nice and easy. There we go. And then finally, my last one, which is my little deers, which I'm going to be putting at the front. So again, a little bit of glue, just to make sure that they are nicely stuck on. And this time I've actually already cut the extra pieces, so I guessed very well on that one. So I have then my 3 sections of my scene, and however I want them to be. So using the inside die from the centre, this is actually from a scrap, I've cut a square exactly from silver waterfall glitter card. And I'm going to start at the top, and it is where I can use almost as much foam tape as I want. So what I want to do is, I'm using the smaller houses. So I'm going to put a bit of tape across the bottom, and a little bit of tape across the top. And these don't have to be all the way. You're not going to see any of this. So you're, like a lot of normal pieces, if I trim this out, I would see the sides and the back and that nothing fits correctly. Because the sides are covered, you can make this sort of almost as messy as you want. It's only the front that matters. So next I'm going to use my deer scenes. So again, a little bit on the bottom, little bit on the top, and simply remove our adhesive and pop that into place. And you'll notice here there's a little bit of a gap, so I take a second piece of tape and add that in. Again, no one will see the side, no one will see the back, so no one will actually notice if it's not right. There we go, that's nicely glued down. And again, take my scissors and cut the excess off, nice and simply like that. So you can see here I've gone off a little bit. Doesn't matter, it will all be covered, so I can just trim that excess off there. As you see, when it goes in, it's all covered, no one will see it. I'm going to take my final piece now, and again take some foam tape, place that along the bottom, just covering that section up at the top, and I simply cover over that final piece, making sure I'm happy, and again cut out any spare at each side. And again at the base, a little bit of foam tape coming. Not the neatest thing to do, but it doesn't matter as it won't be seen. I'm then going to take some baker's twine, and again I can make this as deep as I want as it's covered. So I'm just going to reveal the tape, the foam tape I've already put on both sides, and I'm just going to wrap that round. We'll go round 3 times and secure that. Cut the excess off, turn that over carefully, and I can pop a little bit through there and tie that off. I put little knots at the end so that it doesn't completely fray. And we just trim off so it finishes with the knots. So there's my little scene. Again, not the neatest from the side, or the top or the other side. It's not attractive. It doesn't matter because it's going into our card. So I'm simply going to reveal the tape, and then I'm going to close up my card. So I take off the power tape there, fold one side down and fold it to meet. So get it right, just take a little bit of time making sure it meets nicely, and then we give it a press down to make sure it folds completely flat and pops up. We can then take our piece and gently ease that in. So you can ease it in from the front or the back, and just make sure you get that in exactly the right place. So we get that right, that we're happy, and we press that down. So there we have our piece hanging inside, and it's simply then a case of decorating this up. So I've got some pieces cut from the box kit that are already finished, so let's just add a little bit of glue on those. So we'll have a little bit at this corner. We've got a little bit of white there. We'll add, perhaps, I'm going to cut this in half, a little bit of green. I'm then going to take a little bit of green here. Again, we can make this as deep as we want to. I've got a little bit of silver, all cut from pieces in the box kit. But we can make this as deep as we want to because it's completely covered. So I think we'll go with one small flower just there. And I'm going to go with a large flower and two small just here, tucked in. I like things to keep sort of in that line of three. There we go. And we can take any more foliage that we want and just tuck that in. And there we have our finished sort of spring card. So once this is actually dry, we can press that down so that it will stand up, and it will, both of them will stand up perfectly. Obviously, I need to wait for the flowers to dry.